Huh. That's a funny way to spell Cooper Hoffman. That's right, today Deadline reported that Cyclops, who I would assume will be one of the leads in the MCU X-Men movie, is going to be played by someone who is not on any of the casting lists I have seen, but someone who a lot of people are familiar with, Heartstopper's Kit Connor. Also, my Cap Mortimer is all over. He loves Kit Connor for two reasons. First, Kit Connor did one of those viral videos where he went and hung out with cats at a shelter, and people like that a lot. And then two, his name is Kit, which is also a lot like Kitten, which is what Mortimer used to be and still is. He's a big kitten. Now, this was a surprise, obviously. I made a video about why I thought Cooper Hoffman could work in this role. I wasn't convinced it was him, but out of all of the names that were swirling around recently, his came up the most. Other names we had heard before: Patrick Schwarzenegger, Harris Dickinson, Jack Champion, and it makes sense that that's kind of who they'd be looking for. A young star on the rise, ideally popular with kids and like a good actor, but someone who can play this role for a while and someone who fills at least some of the traditional Cyclops archetypes. Now, I'm aware of Kit Connor, mostly because back when people were talking about who was going to play Billy in Agatha All Along, a lot of people fan casted Joe Locke, who did end up playing that role. Now, most people know Joe Locke from a teenage love story show on Netflix called Heartstopper, and Joe Locke played one half of the romance at the center of Heartstopper, with the other half being Kit Connor. So they experienced playing a couple together. So Joe Locke gets cast as Billy, also known as Wiccan, and fans start going, oh, I wonder who's going to play Hulkling, his boyfriend in the comics. Also known as Teddy. Now he's like the Emperor of the Kree-Skrull Alliance, I think. I'm not sure if that's still going on. Fans of Heartstopper were like, hold on, wait a second. Just get Kit Connor. Not only does he obviously have chemistry with Joe Locke, do they work well together, he also really fits the Teddy profile. He's taller, he's more buff, he's blonde. I would say they fit into those roles kind of perfectly. Now, for whatever reason, it does not seem like that is happening. Either, obviously, Kit Connor's not going to be playing Teddy. It also doesn't seem like Teddy's going to show up anytime soon. It seemed like if he was going to show up, it probably would have been in some sort of Secret Invasion or the Marvels crossover, since that's where all the Skrulls and Kree are. But since neither of those introduced Teddy, I don't know, maybe they'll do a Young Avengers or Champions thing in the future, but for now, he was not on the immediate horizon. Now, Kit Connor is 22 years old. I would say that's on the young side for what I was expecting for this role. Not because Cyclops is necessarily the oldest X-Men either, at least of the members of the First Class. I would say the only X-Men in the First Class that has a defined age in relation to the other three. By the way, the First Class is Scott, Jean, Beast, Angel, and Iceman. I'd say the only one that has a really defined age is Iceman is the youngest. He is usually like a year or so younger than the rest of the group. Everybody else you would say is kind of around the same age. And that's interesting because obviously we have an age for one of our characters. Emma Frost is going to be played by Samara Weaving. We also have another X-Men character, which, spoilers for a certain movie, which according to the box office reports, everybody on Earth has seen already. We now know Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Also, speaking of a certain movie, I was doing this last time and I didn't do it in this video yet, even though it's the same image as before. This background is from Haruch1 on Twitter. It's very cool. I love the stuff that they make. I imagine some of these artists on Twitter will eventually start spinning up some images of some of these characters, like this X-Men or the Jean or the Emma or something. That'll be interesting. So Sadie Sink is 24, which means she's 2 years older than Kit Connor, which is fine. That's a perfect age for this couple. I would assume they will be a couple in the movie since they traditionally are. However, Samara Weaving, who plays Emma Frost, is 34. So a lot of people's first question was, okay, this guy's a little young for Emma Frost. And while that's true, I would say Emma's age in the comics has been kind of flexible. And if they don't nail down like exactly how old all of these characters are, I would say like by the time this movie comes out, he'll be in his like late 20s, she'll be in her late 30s. And yes, sometimes Emma is a teacher who's like way older than the X-Men. So it would have felt kind of crazy for Emma to start dating Scott after her first appearance. But then as the sliding time scale of comics kind of got to everybody, Cyclops and Emma are essentially the same age now. Playing actors play older than they are, and a lot play younger. So I wouldn't say this guarantees we're not going to do the Jean, Emma, Scott love triangle. I don't think we need to. I think there's a lot of options for how we play Emma. But anyway, we're not talking about Emma, we're talking about Cyclops. So I was not very familiar with Kit Connor. I knew he was in Heartstopper, a show I had not watched. I went and watched a bunch of interviews. He seems charming. He seems fun. From what I gather, as a non-watcher of Heartstopper, but someone who has seen a lot of clips from having used them in videos and stuff, it does seem like what his role is on the show, and I double-checked this online to make sure I'm not just imagining this, He is described as kind of the golden retriever boyfriend, which I assume means Joe Locke's character is the more sarcastic, mercurial, irreverent member of that couple, and Kit Connor's character is loyal, he's sturdy, he's trustworthy, and I'm sure over the course of the narrative things have changed. But from what I understand, that's the archetype he plays there. I think that's actually a pretty good start for Cyclops, because Cyclops is kind of that too, especially in the beginning. He gets a lot more complicated as time goes on, and that's a lot of the fun of Cyclops. Cyclops starts as the prom king, head of the football team, and then over time kind of changes and is radicalized to the point where he becomes the leader of this mutant revolution. But like from the beginning, Scott is a dependable member of the team, where you got big personalities like Warren, Bobby. Scott is very steady, and he's the leader. And I can see the golden retriever quality playing well into how a Cyclops can feel. I don't think that's exactly what Marsden was doing. It definitely wasn't what Ty Sheridan was doing. Although I would say, compared to someone like Logan, Marsden is the good guy, right? He's the nice guy, where Jackman's Logan is the bad guy. I can see that working with what I understand about Kit Connor. But I wanted to get a sense for his performance. What is he like? So I watched a movie that he was in just finished it, called Warfare. What a bummer. He's not in it very much. That was kind of a mistake. I don't know if the movie is good or not. War is bad. I thought that going in. It is a movie with a remarkable amount of Marvel Cinematic Universe actors, especially because it's the young, cool guys who are coming up now. All of them were in this movie. So you got Joseph Quinn, your new Human Torch, Michael Gandolfini, Daniel Blake from Daredevil. You got Will Poulter, who plays Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy. You got Charles Melton, who might be in something in the future, although he hasn't been cast yet. Then you have Kit Connor playing what is clearly the young, inexperienced soldier. Doesn't get the vibe early in the movie. Otherwise nice. I wouldn't say this role gives me an amazing sense for who he is, honestly. And listen, I think Kit Connor is going to be good in this role. I do. But having just watched this movie, I'm like, Charles Melton would also be a pretty good Cyclops. Just because he's the leader who comes in and it's all right, here's what we got to do. And I'm like, oh my God, I believe that guy. And that's how you're supposed to feel about Cyclops. He's supposed to come up with a plan and you're like, hell yeah, Cyclops. That's a wild plan, but we're doing it and I believe in you. But I would say, okay, best things Kit Connor has going for him. Number one, kids love him. Heartstopper's incredibly popular. I mean, probably adults love him too, but mainly kids. Second thing, he's a pretty serious actor. He did Romeo and Juliet on Broadway. Like I said, he was in this Warfare movie. He's going to be in this Elden Ring movie, which I do think is going to be a pretty big deal. I would say just at first glance, maybe the best thing he's got going for him is he just looks a lot like what I would expect Cyclops to look like. He's 6'1", so he's tall, and he's jacked. He's in really good shape. In fact, I was watching one of those interviews, I don't know what it's called, but the one where the person makes you dress like medieval times and asks you questions, and he was talking about how he's getting in really good shape for a role in the future. And knowing this, I'm like, wait a second, could he have been talking about Secret Wars? We know Sadie Sink is in Secret Wars, which is going to be playing Jean Grey. Maybe some of the rest of the X-Men are going to be in it too. That's likely the role he was talking about was Elden Ring, because that's probably going to be a physical role, and I believe he's going to be the lead in it. Which, speaking of people that might be cast in this, and we'll probably talk about her in a future video, Kaylee Spaney, who a lot of people think might be Rogue, is also in that movie. So these actors are very connected. I don't know if Sadie Sink is connected to any of these guys, besides the fact that Heartstopper and Stranger Things were both on Netflix. I don't think they bumped into each other in the studio. But so I think Kit Connor looks a lot like Cyclops. I also think he's very young, which I don't think he necessarily looks incredibly young, but I think it's good because that means he could play this role for a while without aging out of it. But I think now that we have two X-Men, for sure, because Emma might be an X-Men, but I'm doubtful. But we have a Jean and a Scott. Jean's 24, Scott's 22. I don't think we're going to get high school aged X-Men. I think our X-Men are going to be in their early 20s, just because that's the age that those two guys are. But then this makes you go, well, maybe the narrative is this is their first mission, post-graduation. They graduated from the Xavier Institute. They are not high school kids anymore, and they're going to save a mutant for the first time. More than anything, I think Kit and Sadie's ages would suggest that we're going to get an X-Men who have been doing this for at least a little while. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a second. Spoiler for Spider-Man. Jean has not been doing this for very long. Yeah, but I could see a world where Jean joins an already in progress team, or I could see a world where, post Secret Wars, when this X-Men movie takes place, we just kind of treat them like they've been a team for a little bit. People have suggested Secret Wars may lead to some rebooting. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Speaking of that, apparently this X-Men movie that these three actors, among others, are in, is going to be the first movie in the mutant saga of the MCU, so it's going to come after Secret Wars. And this is coming from Variety, which means, if that's true, The X-Men movie is going to come out in May of 2028, May 5th, which is fun because that's when these used to come out. The summer would start with a big Marvel movie in May. And sometimes that happens, but obviously that didn't happen this year. So that's just my high level thoughts. I don't know a ton about Kit Connor. I think he can do Cyclops. I think a lot of different actors can do Cyclops. I think he is a big get, especially because he has such a built-up fan base. And I think he is going to be a big movie star in the future. I imagine this Elden Ring movie will be a big part of it. But he feels more reasonable than someone like Cooper Hoffman, who just doesn't exactly have the Cyclops look, but more importantly, it just doesn't seem like he's going to be doing movies like this. He's got his art house thing going on. That could be a very good lane for him. And he's a little bit more interesting to me than Patrick Schwarzenegger or kind of Harris Dickinson. This feels like this is going to be an X-Men movie for kids, which is great. The X-Men should be for kids, not exclusively for kids, but it should appeal to people that are young, that watch the Heartstopper show, that watch Stranger Things. It should be deeper than that as well, but that should be part of the selling point. This should not just be a movie for adults who already like the X-Men. And last thing, and listen to this bit because it is important, very important to me. I've been talking a while about the Nebula project that I filmed about a year ago, and I finally have an update. We're going to be releasing it as a short film. We're going to premiere it at the Holly Shorts Festival in August 21st of 2026. So less than a month. Then once we're done with all the festivals, whenever we are able to, we will premiere it on Nebula. This is I don't know exactly how long it is, over 20-minute long short film I wrote. YouTube friend Patrick Willems directed, and Dave and Nebula put together an incredible team, cinematographers, actors, crew, and made a short film that really looks great. It is called Power Trip, and unless you are at one of the festivals where it screens, the first place to watch this short, again, that I wrote, will be on Nebula. Nebula is a subscription streaming platform that I and a bunch of other YouTubers created. I upload all my videos early and ad-free, including this one. This was here on Nebula first. And then, like my short film, there's all kinds of stuff you can only find on Nebula. Patrick has made other short films. Lindsay Ellis makes video essays exclusively for Nebula. If you've watched the channel, you've seen me plug many, many, many of them. The show Jet Lag premieres on Nebula. Tom Scott's England series premieres on Nebula. It is an incredible way to support creators, and we are in the home stretch, so you will very soon be able to see the short film that I wrote and Patrick directed on Nebula. And a year of Nebula is already a steal at $60 a year. That's just $5 a month. But if you go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut, you can get a year of Nebula for just $30. That is $2.50 a month. It is an incredible deal. It's a great way to support me and a bunch of other creators who either you already love or you are about to love. Again, it is go.nebula.tv/thenandocut. So yeah, that's it. We'll talk about more of these as they develop. That's all I got. Stay safe. I'll see you around.